Oh my god, these are so heavy. Hello, my lovely book friends. I am back today with an absolutely massive book haul. It's not just like one giant shopping trip, it's several smaller shopping trips over the course of the last like 2.5 months, because I haven't put up a book haul in a very long time. I don't know if I've ever even put one up on this channel. I think I've just put them up on TikTok. So it's been a minute. I think I've gathered everything that I've purchased for the most part, excluding like manga and graphic novels. And yeah, let's get into it. So the first thing is Devour Me by Emily Rath. And I've never read anything of hers before, but I saw this cover, which is gorgeous. And I was like, yes, please. And then I turned it around and I went, yes, please. Yes, please. Say less. So this is how this house came home with me. And then I actually looked at the back and found out that it's a why choose between a witch, a wraith, and a human. And I was like, all right, sold. Stop trying so hard. And I'm just a little bit into this. Even though I know that the author normally does like hockey romance, I have a feeling that this will be good. They can't have put this much effort into it for it to not be good. The next thing I have is The Elsewhere Express by Samantha Soto Yambao. And this also is absolutely stunning. Like, you can't tell me that this isn't stunning. And then also, let's just take a peek at the gorgeous cover. I could not believe how beautiful this was for somebody that like I've never heard of before. And you're supposed to color these in, which is so cute. And I love it. The reason I picked it up was because it's gorgeous, but the reason I am still holding it is because someone on the back says that it's like the Alice in Wonderland characters go to a Studio Ghibli movie, essentially. Not that that's like what the content is, but that's what the feeling is. Like that's what it evokes. And I love both of those things very dearly. So this was like right up my alley. It's actually about like human loneliness, and like it seems like it has those Studio Ghibli human connection moments where it's like a little bit softer and more thoughtful. And I am looking forward to that after all of the like chaotic fantasy and romance and things that I've been reading lately. I feel like this is a good palate cleanser, and I'm kind of holding on to it for a palate cleanser. Speaking of romance, this is The King's List. It is a sequel to The Never List by Jade Presley. I read The Never List last year in like one sitting, and this is also gorgeous, like sprayed edges, of course. That seems to be like the theme these days. I don't know if it does have crowns and gorgeousness. So beautiful book production aside, I loved The Never List so much. It's a why choose romance between this girl and 4 princes, and they all have powers, and she's looking for her like long lost sister, and there's just like a whole bunch of different things going on, but the banter was great and the characters were really interesting, and I am absolute trash for a why choose romance. That's a running theme of books in this book haul right now. I think there are like 4 other why choose romance in here. But this is the sequel. I think it's a duology. I want to say that it is, but it doesn't give me any indicator on it. So I guess I'll have to read this one and find out. The first one ends on like a mega cliffhanger. So it's like fresh in my mind, even though I read it last year. But the characters were just so like wildly off the page that I had a great time with it in the very short amount of time that I spent with it, because it just like I ate it. I couldn't stop. So I'm hoping that this will be the same when I have the chance to actually sit down and read it. This was not on my radar at all until it released. I had no idea that this was coming out, and that is a fault of mine for not being on social media more, but also this is written by V.E. Schwab and her friend Kat Clark. And you don't know that it's V.E. Schwab unless you happen to already know that Evelyn is E.V. Schwab. A Schwab. But she's my favorite author, so immediately had to pick this up as soon as I found that out. I just found it out from a blurb that I saw at work, and I was like, excuse me? I didn't know she had a new book coming out. I need this. So I work in a bookstore, so like this is a dangerous hobby to have. The ending rights itself is about 6 authors or 6 writers who go to an island after a famous author has died, and they are given the opportunity to finish his novel, but they only have 72 hours to do it. And chaos ensues, I guess, is what I understand to have happened. I'm really interested. It's not what I would normally read, either from Schwab or in general, because I go pretty firmly into like either fantasy or romance or romantasy, and then additionally horror. So I don't usually read things that wind up just in regular fiction. But like, I'll read anything Schwab writes, and it just sounds so good. Next, I have Bat Eater and Other Names for Cora Zhang by Kylie Lee Baker. This is about a crime scene not investigator, but like cleanup person, crime scene cleanup crew human, who accidentally like runs into a murderer after cleaning up a series of like really gruesome murders, and starts kind of hallucinating, I guess. I think the thing is that you don't know if she's hallucinating or if she's actually like seeing what she's seeing, and it seems sort of like ghosty, like we're lending ourselves to magical realism almost, but it's horror, I think, technically. But that just sounds really interesting. Like, I don't know, I like true crime. I've never read anything about a crime scene cleanup person, and also the idea of just like suddenly seeing ghosts when you have that as a profession. Peak. So I'm interested. Apparently the murderer like says to her Bat Eater and then runs away. Which is just weird. And also the cover is really cool. It's got a bunch of stickers all over it right now, but it looks really cool. And I bought this when I was in my like deep horror period earlier this summer, and I am now in my like romance era again, / my Dungeon Crawler Carl era, but yeah, I will come back around to horror eventually, and then I will pick this up. This was picked up at the same time. This is Never Whistle at Night by Shane Hawk and Theodore C. Van Alst, are the editors. It's a bunch of different authors on the back, like 20 of them, who all wrote Indigenous related dark stories, which sounds really cool and sinister, and I'm into that. This was also picked up in like the height of my horror era, and I am just gonna hoard this until I'm ready to read it. But there's a sequel to this that just came out, I believe, as well. So if this sounds interesting to you at all, just know there's like more available to be had. So this is horror, but it looks like sci-fi fantasy at the same time. I don't know, my store classifies it as horror, but then we also had it in the sci-fi fantasy section, so I don't really know. It could be either. I'm here for either. There's cute little skulls up in here, which I like. Ballad of the Bone Song, or Bone Road rather, Ballad of the Bone Road, by A.C. Wise, is a ghost story, but it's also a fae story, where it takes place in this place where there were Fae courts like 40 years ago, and then the Fae courts disappear, and now there are ghosts. And the main characters are like paranormal investigators, one of whom is possessed by a demon, and the other one has like a major problem with like their ex-fiance who's dead that's like haunting them. It just seems like a lot for a relatively short book. It had good reviews. The cover drew me in, and I just kind of like, I'm scratching my head like, I want to know how that works, because usually, traditionally speaking, if you have Fae in something, they're kind of like by themselves. You don't have like Fae and ghosts and vampires and werewolves and all of these things, which it doesn't necessarily have, but like I just don't equate like ghost stories with Fae. So I'm interested to see what this is like. Next, I have Loving the Wicked. I also have The Wicked somewhere that my bunny started to eat, so it's got teeth marks all over it now. Love that for me. These are just your average dark mafia romance novels. I say average. The first one I'm like halfway through, and they've both shot each other. She's been drowned by him at least once. He thinks about it pretty much every time that he sees her, that he wants to kill her. I'm halfway through the other one, which is just as big as this, and they have had like one spicy scene, but I'm not entirely sure that that's good for either of them, because they're basically both ready to kill each other at every moment. It's true enemies to lovers. But I picked up the sequel because I'm really enjoying the first one. I don't know where it is. I left it in a room, and then my bunny probably stole it again. So I may have to like look under my bed. Next, I have The Staircase in the Woods by Chuck Wendig. And this is about a staircase that mysteriously appears in the woods, and like 4 or 5 friends or something find it. One of them goes up, never comes back down, staircase disappears. And then this takes place like 20 years later when the staircase reappears, and those people get back together to try and figure out what happened to their friend, which sounds really interesting. Like very strange magical realism, horror kind of vibe. And that is all what I'm here for. So, I've always read like Chuck Wendig, writing books about like how to write a compelling tale, but I've never actually read anything by Chuck Wendig. So, this is a long time coming. Next, I have Stolen by the Shadows by Elizabeth Helen. This is a sister duology, not a duology, a sister duo that writes these books, Elizabeth and Helen. This is massive. This is not even the most massive book in the series. This is like a third of the size of one of the other books. It's book 6, and I am currently on book 4, but as they've been coming out in print, I've been picking them up because I was reading them way back 2 or 3 years ago when they were just like self-pubs online, and I'm so happy that these are getting full, like, gorgeous editions with art and everything in them, because they're beautiful. But like, the series is massive, and it's been so long since I've been in that world that I need to reread the first 3 books, and each one of them is like 700 pages or more. I think the first book might be 500 pages, but after that they just like grow exponentially. So you have to like dedicate a lot of time, which is why I've only finished the first 3 books and I'm in the 4th book. I am probably going to reread these before the last book comes out this fall, but I need to finish my run of Dungeon Crawler Carl first, and I'm in book 5 of that. So, pacing. I think I am going to be in for like quite the time for reading this fall. I've taken a little bit of a break in August, but I have like 3 more Dungeon Crawler Carl books to do, 3 more of these to do, and then the new ACOTAR comes out in October. So, who knows what my reading life is going to look like in the next couple of months. Probably very chaotic. Editing Kelly here to say that I didn't actually tell you what this book series is about. And I can't tell you what book 6 is about because I still haven't finished book 4 or 5 and I don't want to give you spoilers. But the original beginning of the series is basically a Beauty and the Beast retelling. Except that there are 4 princes / 5 princes, and they are each the prince of a different fae court. You have summer, spring, fall, and winter. And then you also have Prince Caspian. So next I have A Bargain So Bloody by Vasilisa Drake. I don't know. This font is really freaking weird. I don't know. By someone Drake. This is beautiful. Aside from its bloodstains and stuff. It's gorgeous. It also has sprayed edges. We love that. There's an art piece in here that I'm really digging. I really like that art. But this is basically set in some vampire world where this girl is imprisoned in a castle of some kind. And there's a guy in the basement who's also imprisoned there. And she makes a deal with him that she'll let him out if he takes her with him out of the castle, but then he decides to just keep her and becomes her new captor. I guess that's what I got from the bio. But I saw a TikTok about it and was sold. So we're excited about this. One of my coworkers is frothing at the mouth to read it. It just came out. So, hopefully it is as good as it seems to be. So last in this first section of books is A Prince Among Pirates, by Katie Abdu. And this is gay pirates. What else do you need? It's, I think, YA. But it could not be. It could just be regular fantasy. I'm not sure, honestly. But what I really love about it is I was looking in the inside to see if there was anything on the cover. And there isn't. But on the front page, when you look at the A Prince Among Pirates, underneath it says, an entirely true account of 18th century piracy in which everything is totally made up, or how I cleverly became a pirate by accident. And that's the kind of humor that I crave. So I'm say less, you're coming home with me. This cover did me in. The only thing I have to say is that if it's YA, I wish it wasn't so that it could be spicy. I don't know if it is or not. It's brand new, so I didn't have anyone to consult, but it looks nice. I like it. I'm excited. So the next segment of books are things that I've already read, but that I purchased because of trophies and rereads. So I have all of these as ebooks, but this, you may remember from a video recently-ish, this spring, the author came to my bookstore and signed a copy. So this is a signed edition now. Very happy with that. So I had to buy a physical copy. This is a gay monster romance. Love it. Love to see it. This is actually really wholesome and sweet, even though it involves tentacles. It is spicy in the ways that you want monster romance to be spicy, but then the actual character development is pretty on point and very emotionally satisfying. The story is satisfying, which is not always the case with monster romance. A lot of them don't have any story or anything of note other than spice. This has a lot of heart. I really liked this book, so I'm happy to have a signed copy now. This duology, Lola and the Millionaires by Catherine Moon. This was by Ashley Bennett, by the way. Catherine Moon has a special place in my heart. This duology I read like 4 times a year. Sometimes less, sometimes more, for like the last 4 years or 3 years, whenever it was that I found it. This is my guilty pleasure read. This is my, I am having a bad day, I need to read something, I'm gonna pick up this book. I'm having a like book hangover, I can't think of anything to read, I'm gonna pick up this book. I am having a terrible time and I don't want to read anything, I'm gonna read this book. So Lola and the Millionaires is Why Choose Omegaverse, about a beta who has been used and abused and emotionally, physically is distraught, and finds herself in with a pack of millionaires. And it is romance, obviously. It is spicy. It is got an entire storyline about like kidnapping and about like what is it? Trafficking, like human trafficking. And just like abuse of people. So like there's dark stuff in there. And it's italicized, so you can like skip over those parts if they're triggering to you. But it's like part of the larger story arc that's going on, where basically Lola, after having gotten into a lot of trouble in the previous book, because there's a book that comes before this, but it exists like in the universe and does not have to be read as well. It's called Baby and the Midnight Howlers. I don't like that one, but only because it's got a motorcycle gang, and I don't like motorcycle gangs. So in that book / outside of the realm of that book before this book starts, Lola gets herself into a lot of trouble with these men that are like human traffickers, and she gets out of it and starts her life over and deals with a lot of trauma about alphas and about men in general, and can relate. So I really love this character and the emotional arc that she goes through between these 2 books, like healing herself and getting over, / like not getting over, but like making peace with the things that have been done to her. And I really, really love the male characters in this. They run the gamut between like who they are and what they're about, and like each one of them has a distinct personality. I think Catherine Moon does a really good job of that. I've read a lot of her books, but when she has like Why Choose Romances, there's like 5 guys in this, and each one of them is a very much an independent human. There's no like overlap where they're like, oh, this one is almost exactly like the other one. Not the case. I encourage anyone who has never read an Omegaverse novel to read this, because it's like kind of a gateway drug. It's not too intense and it's not too weird compared to some other Omegaverse things that I have read many times. If you like Omegaverse, you've already heard of this. You just might not know that it's physically out now. It exists. It's physically out. It's beautiful. That's my TED Talk. Thank you for attending. I love these. I wish that I had more people to talk to about them. If you have read them, because no one I know has read them except for like 2 of my coworkers that no longer work for me anymore, please let me know in the comments. The last thing that I have is an ARC, Grim Tidings by B.K. Borson, which I just got in at our store and promptly stole. I can take it. It's okay. But it's an advanced reader's copy. This comes out sometime in the fall. I think probably around Christmas time, because the previous one was also like a September Christmas release. Yes, this one's September 26th. This comes out. This one is about a Grim Reaper and a Guardian Angel. The first book in the series is Good Spirits. Good Spirits was the first book. I don't know what I'm thinking. Good Spirits was the first book, and that was like a Christmas tale about it kind of was like a Christmas carol where like a ghost came to tell this woman that she needs to get her life back on track, and she's like a major Christmas holic, like lover of the season, and he can't figure out why he's there, and he turns out to be like her soulmate, and it's beautiful, it's wonderful, it's everything we want from a romance novel. I had never read any BK Borison before, and now I want to read all of their things. So I'm very excited about that, about this rather, especially because it's a Grim Reaper, and I just really am interested in how that character is going to be built, and what they're going to be like, because we don't see a lot of Grim Reapers in fiction these days, or at least I don't. So interested to see what this is going to be like. A holiday read. I'm going to hold on to it until a little bit closer to the holidays, but I am excited to read it. So I'll probably read it about the week that it comes out. I think that's it. I think that's it for my giant book haul of things. The stack is so high that I have my legs sitting on it right now. And I've still got some other books. Yeah, I am really happy with the books that I have acquired. I have a lot of other books that I need to read, and I shouldn't have acquired more books, but I work at a bookstore, so it's really hard, okay, you guys? It's a deep, deep discount. But yes, so now I can organize these into my shelves, and I don't have to look at them in the stack that they've been existing in anymore. And hopefully I will read most of them soon, and you will see reviews for them instead of book haul. In any case, thank you for watching and hanging out with me as we go through my book haul, and I will be back soon-ish with a couple more videos. One which is about booked 75, whatever that was, 75 booked, that I did earlier this summer, and how that went, because spoilers, it both went and didn't went. It wasn't great. But there'll be a video about that coming soon, and some more things that I have planned. So I will see you next time here on YouTube, on my channel. I look forward to our next meeting. Goodbye.